welcome to LumberJillville. Women's wrestling lives here. Now, at the time of this recording, there has been rumors out there that Sasha Banks has been released by WWE, but it's important to say that nothing has been confirmed at the time of me recording this, so keep that in mind. If the rumors are true and if it does happen, I'll definitely do a separate video just talking about what Sasha means to me and what she meant to that WWE women's division, because I think it's unparalleled. I love Sasha, so yeah, that'll be a separate video for the future. But also in the news, there's a lot of crazy things happening with WWE, a lot of dark things actually. And I just wanted to do a video that was kind of lighthearted, fun, and something different out there that you know, might put a smile on your face, I guess, with all the crazy things going on. So today I'm going to rank my top 5 Sasha Banks figures. Now this is my personal opinion, but either way, I'm really excited to do this. I've wanted to do this for a while. I did a figure history of hers almost 2 years ago toward the beginning of the channel, and she's gotten a lot of figures since then, so we'll see if that changes my ranking in that video. Also, I wanted to tell a real quick story before we dive into the rankings here and talk about kind of the impact that Sasha has had in the WWE as far as the toys go even. So this was a couple years before I even started LumberJillville. I went to Toys R Us. I was looking around for my daughter, you know, looking in the Barbies and stuff. And I was completely out of the wrestling game. I wasn't watching wrestling at the time. Wasn't collecting, but I've always had that itch to collect wrestling figures ever since I was in, you know, middle school, junior high, honestly. But I wasn't collecting at the time. And I always look to see, I wonder what figures they have. You know, I wonder what wrestling figures they have, like what's cool right now, but I wouldn't buy anything. But I remember they had a marquee, like a cardboard marquee with a bunch of figures, and it was a bunch of male wrestlers and then Sasha. And I remember I saw her, and I'm like, who's that? And to me, I just thought it was so cool that there was a female up there, you know, representing a women's division that really hadn't been represented like that before. She was the face of the women's division at the time. She caught my attention. Even my daughter that was with me wanted to know who she was, because like I said, this is before she even saw Charlotte at WrestleMania 34 come out. So I just thought that was really cool, and I remember thinking, wow, like they have a woman represented on this marquee that they would have never done in the past, and I thought that was so cool, and that really gave me this feeling of Sasha's importance to the WWE and the women, and I just thought that was really cool. So, you know, fast forward to years after that, and here I am in LumberJillville, and I have every one of Sasha Banks' figures released so far. Hopefully we get more, hopefully she stays, but more importantly, hopefully she's happy. But either way, I'll quit ranting. Let's dive into the countdown, starting off with some honorable mentions. Alright, so the first of my 2 honorable mentions isn't even a WWE figure. This is a Star Wars Black Series Cosca Reeves figure. Now, Cosca Reeves was obviously played by Sasha Banks, or Mercedes Varnado if you want her real name. So technically it is a Sasha figure, kind of, I guess you could say. But I just love how unique this is, and I absolutely love that she got a Star Wars Black Series figure, and it's an awesome figure. Even taking a closer look at this face scan and sculpt, some may say that they did better at capturing her likeness than Mattel has done, but that's definitely up for debate. But the one thing that's not up for debate is how cool this figure is. It really is cool. And she does come with a helmet that you can put on, and there you go. Now, the one weird thing about this figure is when it's MOC, the helmet's on. I don't like that. I wish it was MOC with the helmet off so you could really see that facial likeness and everything in the box. But either way, this is a cool figure. I just wanted to start out my honorable mentions by showing y'all this. Alright, so the last of my honorable mentions is this Sasha from Battle Pack Series 60 with Alexa Bliss, released in 2019. Now, this one gets an honorable mention simply for the fact that this match is a historic moment that this Battle Pack represents. It was a match between Sasha and Bliss that took place on December 7th, 2017 in Abu Dhabi, and this match was the very first WWE women's match to take place in the United Arab Emirates. So this was a truly monumental moment, and it's so cool that we did get this battle pack in figure form. And what I think is really cool about it is, you know, obviously they had to really change up their attires for the night, but Sasha went with something that was very, very toyetic, and this attire is just awesome. I think they did a great job capturing it here, and it's a lot of fun. It's one of those figures that if you have a Sasha shelf like myself, and people aren't too familiar with Sasha's figures, they're definitely going to ask about this one. It's definitely a conversation starter, and it represents such a historic moment. I also really love that purple attire and how it contrasts with that bright pink hair. I think it's excellent, and I love this figure, but it almost made my top 5. Now that being said, let's dive into that countdown. At number 5, we have WWE Elite Series 44, released in 2016. This attire is from Battleground 2015, which there was a triple threat match with Charlotte and Brie Bella, where Charlotte would come out victorious in that match. So realistically, this might be in a lot of people's top 3, maybe even top 2 favorite Sasha Banks figures. But the reason it's number 5 for me is for one glaring issue, and that is when you remove the glasses, we get this terrible, terrible face. It looks nothing like Sasha. It's no secret it took them quite a while to actually get a good likeness to Sasha. Some are better than others amongst all her figure releases, but to me, this is the worst. I just think it looks nothing like her. It's bizarre. Even the paint on her eyes looks real blotchy and kind of a questionable decision. I think the forehead's way too big. It's just a weird shape. Everything about it is just bad, okay? But it is nice that we can just put on these sunglasses and forget that that scan is underneath. Because if you display this figure with the glasses on like this, I mean, this Sasha figure rules, right? It's awesome. Now, taking a closer look at this figure here. So we have her infamous knuckle rings that are always lost. I've kept mine somehow, legit boss, and those come off very easily lost. So let's slide those off before we remove this jacket. And obviously what stands out most about this figure is this awesome jacket. It's a sculpted, soft rubber material, and this is awesome. It's the one and only time we get this jacket, and this is pretty iconic for Sasha. She wore this a lot in NXT even. But yeah, it's definitely a cool jacket, very unique to her, and the detail on it is awesome. But let's take that off and see what attire is underneath it. I'm sorry, I'm going to have to take her glasses off. And see how hard or easy it is to take this off, honestly, because I don't think I have taken it off. Alright, so that's not too hard to take off. And underneath, we got some pretty freaking cool attire. The orange, black, and white. Although I think that white should be more of like a pearl type color. But either way, the attire underneath looks pretty awesome. And I really like the detail. I like the color patterns. I like this figure a lot. But like I said, the main issue with it is that face. So let's move on to number 4. At number 4, we have WWE Basic Series 96, released in 2019. This attire is from the first ever Women's Royal Rumble in 2018. Now, Sasha was the first entrant on this historical night. Alright, so this Basic 96, I sentimentally absolutely love this figure. I think it's awesome that we get a figure that represents that first Women's Royal Rumble, where Sasha was the first entrant. And not only that, she's got her Wonder Woman-inspired attire, and it looks great. I just think this figure is awesome. Now, looking at that face scan, this is a scan and sculpt that they used quite a bit on her figures, and it's not the best, but not the worst in my opinion. You know, she had a lot of attempts to get her scan right, and this one isn't the scan that they nailed that we'll get to later in the countdown, but I think it works fine. I think it's okay. I like that purple hair. I think that looks really cool, but obviously the standout here is that Wonder Woman inspired attire. It's a beautiful figure to look at. I love how we have that. And we even have little gold accents all throughout, and all the details are there. So yeah, this is definitely a cool figure to not only represent a historic moment, but it just looks great. At number 3, we have Championship Showdown 2-Pack Series 9, released in 2022. This attire is from the Hell in a Cell 2020 pay-per-view, which took place on October 25th in the Thunderdome. On this night, Sasha Banks would defeat Bayley in a memorable Hell in a Cell match to become the new SmackDown Women's Champion. Alright, so this Sasha figure, in my opinion, is the most underrated wrestling figure that is available to order right now. Now, you can go to ringsidecollectibles.com, use code LJV if you want to get it, or you can wait till it's in stores because those Championship Showdown 2-packs are pretty widely available, not too hard to find. So, either way, I highly suggest that you don't skip out on this figure because, in my opinion, there's not enough buzz about how amazing this figure is. And I think the main reason is it's in that Championship Showdown 2-pack series, and also it's a basic style figure. But I'm telling you, do not sleep on this. This is an amazing Sasha figure. So breaking it down here, if we look at that scan, that is the best scan that Mattel has done on Sasha. Now, we previously saw this scan in this face sculpt with Elite 83 and also Basic 128. And also this hair color is a darker blue than that Elite 83. So basically, this face, the head, the hair is the exact same that we got in Basic 128. And I do think that darker blue looks better than the brighter blue that's in Elite 83. However, what sets this apart from that basic 128, despite having the same head and hair, is the attire. I mean, they did an amazing job here. Now, I know there wasn't a whole lot to work with, obviously, because they went with that all-white attire, but what they did here is pretty tremendous, and the attention to detail is so cool. So this is the first time that Sasha ever had her little arm straps as a, semi-removable piece. And I'll say semi because I'm pretty sure you have to remove the hands. So boil some water, remove the hands if you want to take those off. But it's a separate piece for the first time ever. And that's awesome before it was just painted on. And on top of that, the attire is very cleanly painted. All the little silver intricate details and accents are on there perfectly. We even have the little blue above the knee pads there. And then we have the silver going down into the boots. But this figure really does stand out. And in my opinion, like I said, it's the most underrated Sasha figure. Truth being told, I had it at number 2 up until a couple minutes before when I had my top 5 figures in front of me. And I went with a different figure for number 2. And I'll explain why. So that being said, let's move on to number 2. At number 2, we have the WWE Women's Division Elite Walgreens exclusive released in 2017. This attire is from the Raw main event on July 25th, 2016, where Sasha defeated Charlotte Flair to win the Raw Women's Championship. Alright, so this figure is number 2 to me for quite a few reasons, honestly. Now, I'm putting my sentimental feelings aside because this was one of the first women's wrestling figures, might even be the first that I bought, and this was a year or two before I even started LumberJillville. I just got a new job, and when I was job searching, there was the Sasha at a Walgreens just hanging out, and it was there forever to the point where I remember telling my friends, hey, if I get that new job, first thing I'm doing with my first paycheck is going and picking up that Sasha because it's cool and it doesn't deserve to sit on the pegs, and that's what I did, and here it is in front of me. So putting those feelings aside, this figure is really, really awesome here. We get a lot of accessories and a lot of deco. A lot of attention to detail went in that deco. And it also signifies her very first Raw Championship title win, which is super awesome. So looking at the figure here, the accessories, we get those knuckle rings, which we're going to take off carefully so they don't fall off and I never see them again, because that's pretty common for people. And somehow, some way, knock on wood, I've kept all mine. And then we have these white sunglasses that come off. Now, I know this is not the best scan or sculpt as far as the face goes for Sasha, but I think this is that scan and sculpt that works okay. It works all right. It's not the best, not the worst, but I can look past it because she does come with sunglasses and she does have all these other cool accessories and attention to detail here. Now, this legit boss necklace here, this is actually the one and only time we get this specific coloration and design. So if you are missing this accessory and you're looking for a legit boss necklace on eBay or something, make sure to look for the one that has the black filled in letters, because that's the one that comes with this figure. Now, she also comes with the Raw Women's Championship, which is awesome. This represents her first Raw Women's Championship win. She won it on that night against Charlotte, so that's definitely cool. Even though, we don't lack an abundance of Raw Women's Championships included in women's figures, but still, it's cool that it's included to really represent that moment. And then what really makes this figure stand out is this attire. This attire to me is so awesome. It's so much fun. We have the blue and yellow base colors all throughout with the pink accents. And the paint application is so intricate and so clean. I just think it looks great. I think this is this was my favorite Sasha figure up until number 1 came into my life here. So, yeah, this figure rules. I really don't know the price that it's going for on eBay, but I do know that when it was at Walgreens, it was pretty easily to obtain. So, I would definitely go out and try to find this figure. It freaking rules. I love it. And at number 1, we have WWE Elite Series 83, which was released at the tail end of 2020. Now, this attire is from Raw on August 26, 2019, where she defeated Natty. This was her in-ring return after her hiatus after losing the women's tag team titles at Mania. And this was also the debut of her blue hair. And to no one's surprise, at number 1, we have Elite Series 83. I think this is probably a lot of people's number 1. And there's a lot of reasons why. So there's a lot of first ofs as far as her figures go. This is the first of this jacket that we got. The first time that her glasses are molded to say boss. And it's the first Elite with the blue hair. So this came out before Basic 128 in that Championship Showdown 2-pack. So when this came out, I was going crazy because the scan and sculpt was tremendous. I thought this was the best job that they've done. Now, like I mentioned earlier, this color blue is a little brighter than it should be. It is darker and corrected in that Showdown 2-pack and also the basic 128. But either way, it works fine. You know, at the time we had nothing to compare that to, so having a blue-haired Sasha Elite was pretty tremendous. And side note, real personal story, I did get this on Christmas Eve, and I don't have my daughter on Christmas Eve, so it's not the easiest time for me. And, you know, it was the first year of my channel, and I was kind of pouting, and I got a notification, and Sasha arrived from ringside on Christmas Eve, so I was able to record that review, put out the review, and to this day, I think it's the best review as far as numbers go that's on LumberJillville. So this figure will sentimentally always be, you know, maybe my favorite of all time for that reason. But either way, enough with the mushy stuff. Let's take a closer look here. So I already covered the head and the hair. We do have those knuckle rings. Once again, good luck never losing those. Good luck. And we get this really cool molded jacket that does come apart in different pieces. It removes at the elbow there, and then it can slide off her shoulders. Now, I am gonna tell you, anyone that has this figure will tell you, how freaking hard it is to take that jacket off. When I was filming the review and I was taking the jacket off, I think I was sweating. I was like those people in the movies that are like, oh, which wire do I cut, the green or the blue? Because I was trying to take that jacket off and not break her arm. So, yeah. What I did is, I have multiple of this figure because I love it so much. So, boom, here we go. The magic of video making. So I'm not going to take the jacket off of this one because this is how I display her with the rings and the glasses. And taking the jacket off is a pain. But when we do take that jacket off, looking underneath, the attire is really cool. I mean, we have that black and blue attire with little white accents throughout with that Sasha Banks logo on the back. The top does have a lot of sculpting and molded detail on it, which is nice. And the boots have a nice little flame design with, you know, legit boss. So, yeah, this was my easy number one. Now, I hope we get more elites, and I hope Sasha gets more elites. I hope she stays with the company and everything, because Sasha, to me, is the GOAT. But this, to me, is the GOAT of the GOAT as far as figures go. Alright, I hope you enjoyed today's top 5 countdown. Hopefully it distracted your brain from all the crazy things going on in WWE at this time. And like I said at the time of this recording, Sasha is still with WWE. So if that changes in the future, there will be another video or so, because Sasha is near and dear to me, and I think she's pretty amazing. So either way, I'd like to know what your top 5 favorite Sasha Banks figures are in the comments below, so definitely let me know. Now, that being said, thanks for stopping by LumberJillville. Women's wrestling lives here. Make sure to hit subscribe to become an official resident today. Also, head on over to ProWrestlingTees/LumberJillville to check out the merch. And also, if you go to ringsidecollectibles.com, use code LJV to save 10% on your next order. That'll really help me out and support me, so I appreciate that. Now, stay tuned, because the Boss Fight Studios Taya Valkyrie figure should be here very soon after a long 2-year wait, so I'm definitely excited for that. Now, with that being said, have a great night, y'all.